Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a bit of an update to Cardsphere. I did a review in a Market Monday video for the service. Go check that out, and then definitely go check out www.cardsphere.com. Just a little bit of, if you haven't seen the video, Cardsphere is a new trading service that is very dissimilar to PucaTrade, whereas PucaTrade was not backed by any sort of real-world currency. Cardsphere is backed. You can cash out and get your money at a pretty good exchange rate that still beats the TCG player fees or eBay fees. So far I'm very impressed. I was going to do a video as soon as my first $100 was purchased because I like to use Cardsphere as a buying a place to buy cards, not really to sell cards. Yes, I have sent off a few packages. It is getting better for that too. I've noticed with more people making the transition from PucaTrade or other venues over to Cardsphere. You actually are starting to find some very good trades, very lucrative trades, even people offering bounties. Like what I mean by bounties is over the amount of what the card is going for particular cards. So I think that I'll have to make a video doing that. They really do still need their browse feature. It's in their next rollout, is what I assume their next major rollout. They're going to try to do a browse feature, which is the way that I like to run trades. I like to actually look for people that have wants and then fulfill those rather than try to upload some massive database and try to have it match for trades. So anyway, the point of this video is just to show you what $96.48 has so far. I'm going to add probably another $250 to this account and go for some more trades because I've been highly impressed with the amount of cards I've been able to acquire for $100. Now, I am probably one of the only people that is offering just a vast array of cards at very similar to buy list prices. So I kind of take Channel Fireball, Star City Games, buy list prices and use them myself for Cardsphere. And so far, let's see. So when did I purchase into Cardsphere? It was, I think the first of the month. Yeah, the 7th of July. So less than a month, I'm able to completely basically drain the $100 for card purchases. And this is really, really an awesome service for specs. I used to spec on just TCG Low, but TCG Low has been pretty competitive lately for the cards being higher than they used to be. You used to be able to find some very, very good trades or very, very good purchases for spec cards especially. But lately, cards like Harbinger of Tides, which I've gone all in on in a long time, I haven't been able to find like Harbingers under a pretty decent, like the 50-cent range that I found them on TCG Low in the past. So this Cardsphere has just been an amazing service to connect people, connect sellers with buyers, and kind of not have to go down the road with the TCG player fees and all the nonsense that goes with that. So anyway, let's just go over some of my purchases and where I've been very, very happy with them, because this latest one, these Dig Through Times, go check out my last Market Monday. This is actually a commander spec because I think that Dig Through Time is going to never be reprinted just because of how powerful it is. It's going to be, I highly doubt that we're going to see this in a commander type deck just because they're very weary of printing more. I guess Treasure Cruise was reprinted, so maybe we will see digs, but I think that 75 cents, this is the bottom. This is the bottom of what Dig Through Time is going to go for. And so that's something that I capped out. I put it as a 75%. This is, I think they're going for like $1.80 is what Dig Through Times are going for currently on TCG Mid. And so that is a very, very good discount at a buy rate. It's probably very similar to some of the other stores are having as their buy list. Cards like Reclamation Sage, this is a card that I am specing into for the like 3, 4, 5 years down the future. Illusionist Bracers for 99 cents. This card is amazing in Commander. I sell these at my store like crazy. Basically every new Commander series that comes out, there will be a Commander that actually wants the Illusionist Bracers. Got that for 99 cents, for example. The Aetherix Reservoir. Been targeting a lot of Kaladesh cards right now that are at their all-time lows. So cards like Aetherix Reservoir and Scrap Heap Scrounger. Forgotten Creations. This is a spec just based upon paying only 10 cents a piece for these cards. This is basically the Locust God type decks or any other draw deck that comes out in Commander, they're going to want a Forgotten Creation. It's a really, really powerful card in that. Even cards. Then it's been very good at picking up cards that I specifically want for Commander. So like cards that I put at or around what I could get them on TCG low for, they've been fulfilled quite quickly. So I'd rather actually keep the money in the community than actually go to a store on TCG Player. So if nothing else, if you don't want to use Cardsphere for anything else, I highly suggest this just because it goes to a good cause. That if you're going to purchase something on TCG Low, come over here and support Cardsphere, support the community of traders. You know, all the money that goes into TCG Player goes to those corporate big guys. I mean, TCG's done some wonderful thing. We actually do use their store for our Gone Rogue Games site. But in the past, though, I have had issues with TCG Player in the past and Star City Games in the past, just because they are one of the the bigwigs in the Magic the Gathering community, and sometimes they side on the wrong side of issues that I definitely don't want to be a part of. So when I can support like these independent type of companies like Cardsphere that are offering these great services, then I'll do so. So if you put something at your 25% discount, it will be fulfilled. So that's a pro tip for Cardsphere. It's been less than a month, and again, I've drained the $100. I've got a lot of cards here for particular decks that I'm working on. This is actually Flickering Word's going to go into a Daxos deck, for example. And we have like Insurrection, which is going to go, I can't remember what Insurrection goes in the Naheb deck, and same with Akroma's Memorial at a 25 to 30% discount on these, and they're fulfilled very, very quickly. But where this really shines is the spec cards. Master Waves have got it at over a 60% discount, I believe. Those have been fulfilled quite easily. Things like the Gyreet Sanitarium, which is at its all-time low, and in anticipation for rotation, I've invested in those. Got those at 30 cents a piece. Yeah, even cards like obscure cards like Acidic Soil, that goes in Naheb. Some more Reclamation Sages, Reverse Engineers. Running a store where we were out of Reverse Engineers. I have no clue why, because I think a lot of people have built into kind of not the Aether Flux Reservoir decks. We have a lot of casual players that love this type of card, and I think Reverse Engineers get bought out because of that. A lot of people do put them in Commander decks too, because it's a very easy way to draw 3 cards. Discs we were just low on and offered a huge discount, and it was fulfilled. Elder Deep Fiend is just a last minute spec for a Pro Tour. I think that Elder Deep Fiend decks might do good. We might see a slight spike, and then I can just unload these right at the Pro Tour this next week. We have the Spine Rock Null, which is for a Commander deck at 25% discount. Flaying Tendrils, this sees modern play, so I'm offering 4 cents a piece just to stock up, and then 3 years down the road when it's a 75 cent to $1 card, then you unload them and you make some great margins on that particular purchase. And again, you got to think of this as trade fodder. One thing about this is you can go ahead and trade these back. I'm sure that people will actually make a huge margins on just offering low and then being patient and finding trades. That's how I kind of work Puka Trade. There'd be some cards. I remember Voice of Resurgence was a card that I probably traded like 4 or 5 times in Puka Trade, like the same copy, not the same copy, but I traded for it, traded it, traded for it, traded it. I mean, just to keep when it was high and low. And what makes Cardsphere just so much better than the Puka Trade is you get to set the prices at where you do that. And so you don't have to rely on the market swings. You can just actually do your own supply demand swings and make very, very savvy trades. Gravitational Shift was Locust God. Relentless Assault was Naheb. We have some more Elder Deep Fiends. But look at this gem too, a Sword of War and Peace for 9. Again, Forgotten Creations for 10 cents a piece. We have Reservoirs for 50 cents a piece. This card is just insanely good in Commander. I could see it being banned in Commander because it's just a very unfun card. I got turn 3'd Aether Flux Reservoir the other day. What was the deck? The Commander that gains 2 life per turn. So they went first, gained 2 life, 42, then gained 44, then 46. Played a spell, had like a first turn Soul Ring nonsense. Played a spell, a couple spells with Aether Flux Reservoir, and then just one-shot me, which is no fun. But anyway, I've been picking those up because, again, we are low at my local game store. Mechanized Productions, we were actually sold out at my local game store, so it was a great way to fulfill them up. And Ceremous Rejections is a card that I'm going all in on just because of affinity in Modern. And I think it's going to be very similar to other uncommons that are sideboard cards in many, many decks. being very cheap, and then a year or two down the road, you find these down for $1 or $2 a piece. And I think this is going to be, because what's the card that's very similar to that? The running in Death Shadow, the one that you have Ferocious. It counters a spell, a non-creature spell. Stubborn Denial. Go check those. Those cards are actually quite expensive, quite pricey for a card that rotated not too long ago. So Ceremonious Rejection's in there for that same reason. Again, finding commander staples at -25 cents, insanely good. Hedron Archives. This is actually a $1 card. Got it for 22 cents. A bunch of bulk rares you can get for 15 cents easily, 10 to 15 cents. Long Tusk Cubs, which are now approaching the $1 mark, get for 11. Same thing with Reflector Mage. This card is actually starting to see a lot more play in Modern. You can just see, since I'm offering a lot of these cards being bought at rotation, a Mailer Deep Fiend, I believe, sells for $1.75. Getting it for 50 cents is a huge bargain. They are fulfilled very, very quickly. So, yeah, just Skull Clamps, Illusionist Bracers, Relic of Progenitus. This is a great, great service. So I highly, highly recommend that if you haven't checked out the Cardsphere, go ahead and check it out. I have no sponsorship. They refuse to sponsor anyone. They do have great communication. I know that one of them is a fan of my channel, and I'm definitely a fan of their service. And the more I can, help promote this community, the better, because it has worked out. The more people in, even if you're doing kind of the same thing I'm doing, fine. That's perfectly acceptable. Yes, I'd prefer less buyers, of course, on the Cardsphere and more sellers. But it wasn't too hard to find in some pretty good sends. Like, these prices have been going up. So I haven't really added too much to my send list of cards I want to send off. Some of the higher end cards, once they hit like 90%, a lot of times it's just better for me, since I'm buying so many cards, to actually send them. So like cards like Misty Rainforest, if I can find someone that wants it at 88, 90%, I'll go ahead and send it off the Misty Rainforest, and then use this as, instead of just eBaying it for cash, since I'm putting cash in Cardsphere at the moment, just get the money in Cardsphere and then get these spec cards that I'm specing into for super, super discounted rate. And it's just worth my time and money to do so. So I have, again, started to find a lot of the 88s, 89, 90% on high-end cards, high-demand cards. And if you're just patient, you can find those trades. Like right now, it's not a good example for like the Scalding Tarns and Misty Rainforests. But the difference between Cardsphere and Puka Trade is these cards are actually going to move. They're not just going to sit and stay stagnant with no one willing to actually send the high-end, high-demand type cards. So, again, I haven't uploaded any sort of, like, this is all the things I have in my wants. So there's not a lot of, or my haves. There's not a lot of ways that this send is actually linking up with actually senders. Once they have their browse feature, though, it should be a game changer, because what I've been doing, especially with these new people with funds, is a lot of times you can just click on one of them and it will show what they want, and you can find particular cards like here's an Arid Mace for 80%, but this particular one's doesn't have some decent but sometimes these new people have a lot of stuff. Ooh, this one's really low balling, 25% on stuff. I found one the other night, though, that had a lot of 80 to 90% to even up to 200% on obscure cards. And if they did have a browse feature, it would have been worth my time just to click on these, add it to my inventory, and then send it. Or just say for example, this person wants a War of Invention, you could just go fulfill it right here and click down. Once they get that going, I think that I'll start trading. I'll actually start sending off cards a lot more. But just wanted to give you a little bit of an update for Cardsphere. So far, it still has an A+ in my mind. Yes, there are some changes, of course, that I hope that they make, some upgrades to the site. And so far, though, this has just been a very, very pleasant experience. The $100 in less than a month in spec cards, that, that $100 is probably worth $250 to $300 worth of cards that I can sell. Or if you go to a GP when the margins are so super slim, that's the best place to unload them. And it beats out going any other route at the moment, in my opinion. Beats out the TCG Player, beats out Buy List, beats out eBay. As far as if you take that strategy, stockpile, go to a GP and sell, you're going to have a lot less of a end fee than if you were to try to go the TCG and the eBay, and with all the shipping and packaging and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the margins aren't even going to be there. and a lot less time too. So again, you have to watch my video when we talk about that. We're unloaded cards at the GP Vegas. A lot of times, like the like Haruya has a really high or low spread because they're a different market. They're a Japanese market, and they sometimes pay a lot for some of the older cards. And then I'm trying to think of this shop that we sold to. They wanted standard cards, and the spread was just insanely low. We were selling off cards for very minimal, like they were paying like 80-85% for cards based on like TCG low or mid prices. So again, GPs are a great place just to stockpile and unload. I'll have to do a whole Market Monday video sometime about this, but kind of rambled with this. I'll show you some of my wants too. If you have any of these cards and want to support Rogue Deck Builder, this is a great way to support me as well, is send off cards. Yes, I do give super discounted rates, 50% cuts on a lot of things. Most cards that I do want get fulfilled at 30%. So you can tell I'm working on a Daxos deck for Commander right now. Just really loving Commander at the moment. And so I'll put cards at 30% and they will be fulfilled very quickly. You can see Dig Through Time. I even have a cap at 75%. A lot of scrap heat scroungers like $1. And you'll get people that will eventually. So that's just my strategy, is putting a ton of cards that I'm willing to purchase at the moment. And they do end up becoming fulfilled faster than you'd expect. So anyway, this is my Cardsphere update. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions for me about this that I can answer. Again, go check out my review of how to use the service and what I felt about it back when I started. And I did put my money where my mouth is. Again, there's no sponsorships attached to this. I think this is just something that's a game changer for the MTG finance world. And I'm just insanely excited to throw some more money, and hopefully in a month I can fulfill $250, $300 of super discounted cards. Anyway, this has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.